अस्सलाम वालेकुम। आपको आवाज आ रही है ना सही? जी, मेरा ख्याल है कि हम तिलावत कुरान कुरान पाक से शुरू करते हैं। तो अगर आप में से कोई रिसाइट कर दे, नहीं तो मैं कर दूं, जैसा आप बोले।
जी, आप ही कर दें जी।
ठीक है। औज़ु बिल्लाहि मिनश शैतानिर रजीम। बिस्मिल्लाहिर रहमानिर रहीम। कुल हुवल्लाहु अहद, अल्लाहुस समद, लम यलिद वलम यूलद वलम यकुल लहू कुफुवन अहद। सदक़ल्लाहुल अज़ीम। अस्सलाम वालेकुम। Uh, on behalf of Inside Securities, I would like to welcome you all to the analyst briefing or corporate briefing session of Gani Chemical Industries. With us on the from the Gani Global side is Mr. Hafiz Farooq Ahmed, Mr. Zubair Siddiqui, Mr. Asim Mahmood, Mr. Farzand Ali, and the management team of Gani Global Holding, Gani Chemical Industries. On our side, I will be providing a brief introduction, as I've already about the participants, and on our side, this session would be moderated by Mohammad Sharoz, who heads research at Insight Securities. Before I start, I would like to welcome especially Mr. Zubair Siddiqui, who is a relatively new entrant at the Gani Global Group. Zubair Saab is his appointment was mentioned in the notice that GCIL served at the PSX on 4th of November. Zubair Saab is an accomplished C-level executive with a distinguished career spanning more than 25 years, including over 15 years in senior international roles. So he has basically held leadership positions at Linde PLC, which is now locally was bought by some of the local groups and is now named as Pakistan Oxygen. Linde is one of the leading chemical companies and and he has also spent time at the PIF subsidiary called Energy Solutions in developing landmark energy projects. Zubair Saab spearheaded strategic initiatives that have reshaped the industry landscape. His portfolio of achievements include critical contributions in managing multi-billion-dollar mega projects, such as 1 million tons green hydrogen development in Saudi Arabia with Public Investment Fund of Saudi Arabia, a $3 billion carbon capture and sequestration venture with Saudi Aramco and SLB, and a $2 billion blue ammonia production facility. So was a brief introduction on Zubair Saab. Relatively, all the other members sitting in front of you are basically well known and have been with the firm for a good time. So without much ado, I would like to hand over the proceedings to Zubair Saab and his team so that he can brief you about the presentation that has already been uploaded on the PSX website.
Okay, so thank you for the introduction, Zubair Saab, and let me welcome on behalf of Gani Chemical Industries to all the participants. And let me quickly take you through the presentation, and then we will have some time for question and answers. So here you can see a brief history of Gani Chemical Industries. We started in 2009 with a 100 TPD ASU plant in Lahore. And then, in the coming years, you see the timeline that in 2014, we had set up another ASU at Port Qasim in Karachi. And then third one in 2019, which was 110 TPD ASU at the same site in Lahore. And this was followed by another major investment in 2022. And another 100 TPD ASU was set up at Port Qasim, primarily for a pipeline customer. And later on in this year, 2025, we have installed and commissioned the largest ASU in Pakistan, which is 275 TPD in Hattar Special Economic Zone. Next slide, please. So this is a brief overview on the production sites that we have. So you can see that we have 5 production sites across the country. Primarily all sites we have the ASU plant. As I said, the first ASU was installed and commissioned in 2009. It's a 100 TPD plant, and it is located in District Kasur, very near to Lahore on the Multan Road. GCIL-2, this is the plant which was commissioned first in Port Qasim. It is 110 TPD, and it is in the eastern zone at Port Qasim, and it was commissioned in March 2014. Then another ASU was commissioned in 2019, July 2019. That is another 110 TPD ASU on the same site where we installed our first plant. The fourth ASU was commissioned in 2022. This is a dedicated ASU. As I said previously, that this is primarily for a pipeline customer, which in this case is Angro-Polymer, and we have a long-term supply contract with Angro-Polymer for the supply of oxygen and nitrogen gas. Lastly, GCIL-5, which is the largest ASU that we have in Pakistan. The production capacity is 275 TPD, and this is recently commissioned earlier this year in April. So Asim Saab, if you can take through the financial.
Thank you very much, Mr. Rahman. Comparison of key financial metrics. Our gross sale increased from 6.395 million to 8.739 million last year, and our net sales were 7.4 billion as against 5.4 billion in year 2024. Our cost of sales was 4 billion around, and last year it was 3.825 billion. Our gross profit in 2025 was 3.4 billion as against 1.613 billion in financial year 2024. The profit before tax was 2.639 billion in FY 2025, and in FY 2024 it was 1.284 billion. Taxation provision was 623 million as against 199 million in 2024, and profit after tax was 2.016 billion as against 786 million, around 2.5 times more than the last year. EPS rose from 1.58 per share to 3.92 in 2025, and depreciation amortization was 191 million in year 24, and it was 221 million in year 2025. EBITDA was 1.865 in year 24, and it rose to 3.313 billion. And earning before interest and tax was 1.674 in year 24, and it was 3.092 in year 2025. Comparison of financial position, our number of shares that stood for 5 billion in year 2024, it rose to 5.704 billion. Share equity was 9.203 billion as against 9.854 billion. Non-credit liabilities were 2.317 billion as against 3.349 billion. Current liabilities stood at 4.728 billion as against 3.678 billion. Total liabilities were 7.045 billion in year 2025 as against 7.027 billion in year 2024. Total equity and liabilities stood at 16.248 billion, and it was 16.881 billion in year 2024. Non-current assets were 10.060 billion as against 11.205 billion, and current assets stood at 6.188 billion as against 5.676 billion, and total assets stood at 16.248 billion against 16.881 billion in year 2024. This is the graph showing the increase in gross sales, gross turnover, starting from financial year 2022 to 2025. It rose to 8.739 billion in year 2025. Likewise, our profit increased, alhamdulillah, from 831 million to 2.016 million in year 2025. It was 871 million in financial year 2022, 508 million in 23, 785 million in 24, and 2.016 billion in financial year 2025. Explanation of retail aviation. Strong performance despite macroeconomic challenges in financial year 2025. Net sale increased year-on-year basis, driven by healthcare gases. Gross profit margin improved through operation efficiencies. EPS rose to 3.92 as compared to 1.58 in year 2024. Total assets stood at 16.2 billion despite the demerger of calcium carbide project. Equity was 9.2 billion, driven by retained earning. Share capital is 5.7 billion and unoperated profit is 3.5 billion. Long-term loans reduced by forming repayments.
Okay. Now, let me take you through the key revenue drivers. I think, as you know, that we have different segments in which our product goes. So primarily, let us start from the hospital sector. So medical gases, which goes to the different hospital sectors, being the private or the government sectors. This remains our most consistent and the highest revenue stream. And, the demand is driven through the long-term or short-term contracts. We have a lot of things which are related to regulatory compliance, and also there is a general, let's say, spending by government agencies on the healthcare related facilities post-COVID. So that is also helping us in the increased demand. So healthcare sectors remains our main area. Other than that, we have another area which is very important to our supplies. This is merchant market through distributors, and this is our second largest revenue stream. And we have a large nationwide distributor network, and that distributor network contributes to roughly 25% to 30% of our revenues. Industrial sector strategic penetration, that is a niche that we have created, and we are providing, innovative solutions to different industries in the country, whether it's a fertilizer, chemical, couple of refineries, steel plants. So every industry somehow have requirement for industrial gases, and we are providing them the required, let's say, material, and also providing them innovative solutions to differentiate from the competition. Shipbreaking is a sector which is at times very high in demand, but these days it's a bit sluggish. But hopefully, with the recent, let's say, environmental related upgrades that we are doing on the yards and the government's push, it will inshallah increase in the coming years. But as of today, it remains on a lower side from the potential compared to the potential that this segment have in the market. In the emerging revenue streams, we have pipeline solutions. As we said in the beginning, we have a long-term supply contract for agropolymer, and this also contributes significantly to our revenue stream. And it's also, considering the long-term nature of the contract, this provides a steady stream for the revenue. We are trying to develop a specialty gases portfolio just to make sure that we have certain niche in our portfolio so that we can absorb the market volatility and market uncertainties. For operating segment analysis, as you know that our products and services, they are spread across the whole industry. So we are providing all sort of industrial gases, medical gases, and chemical solutions to all our customers. The geographical spread that we cover is that we have a countrywide distribution system, and also we have a distributor network to provide our product across the country. All the major hospitals, private healthcare institutes, all the major industries, and the key distributors, they all are in our customer portfolio. In the next slide, you will see that segment-wise, all the key or the main names in Pakistan are actually, alhamdulillah, our clients. So we start with Schlumberger in oil and gas, Sprint, Attack Refinery. This is in the oil and gas sector. In glass sector, we have Tariq Glass, Ghani Glass, Balochistan Glass, our own subsidiary, Ghani Global Glass. They are our key customers. In the electronic sectors, we have Pell, Orient, DWP Group, they are our key customers. Food and beverage, we have Nestle, we have Angro Foods, we have Big Bird. And similarly, in chemical and fertilizers, if we go to the next slide, please. So in chemical and fertilizers, EPCL remain one of our key customers. Other than that, we have Engrofert as our liquid customer, along with Fatma fertilizer, as well as Fauji fertilizer bin Qasim. In the pharma, we have Pharmagen, Sak Pharma, Jockman Pharmaceuticals, and similarly in steel, we have Amreli Steel, People Steel, Navina Steel, Aisha Steel. They all are our key customers. So when we talk about the future projects, future prospects, as I mentioned that in April 2025, we have started our commercial operations with the newly commissioned ASU. This is a 275 TPD ASU, highly efficient and the largest ASU that we have in Pakistan. This will inshallah remain operational for the, let's say, the coming years, and it will help us in growing our market share, as well as it will make us more competitive because of the latest technology that we have in the plant and the energy efficiency that it offers. Expansion into LPG sector, we have previously announced that we will be establishing inshallah 450 tons LPG storage and filling plant at our existing Lahore site. The project will be managed through Ghani Gases, which is a wholly owned subsidiary of GCIL. We already have obtained license from OGRA, and construction will begin inshallah after we get the necessary approvals from explosive department. With all these things, there are, so the next slide, I will request Hafiz Saab to elaborate a bit.
Yeah, Alhamdulillah, yesterday we sent a notice to the Pakistan PSX that we signed an agreement with the very esteemed organization, Mari Energies Limited, whose people are very highly qualified, as well as they are working on green technologies. जिसके लिए actually we have done this JV, जिसमें उनकी कुछ carbon emissions हो रही हैं. We will capture CO2. We will also capture natural gas in this, and the natural gas volume is roughly about 220 tons per day, and CO2 the total CO2 is quite big, but in the first phase we will only be capturing 150 tons per day. Our project cost will be roughly about 14 billion, and most of the major portion of this 14 billion will come from the supply credit, and we are not looking into any kind of right share or anything in this one. Our revenue generation of this, because before last year, LNG import was about 8 million tons, and we will be producing roughly about 80,000 tons. So that's just a peanuts. So, and we will try to go into these areas which are where the SNGP or SSGC networks are not there, which provides a very good pricing of per MMBTU or per kg or per meter cube, whichever way you take it. And the profitability of this sector is quite good. I mean, it's a handsome profit. So this is the main thing which we can right now tell the market. And okay for the questions.
I think we have one more slide, then we will open for the questions. So in terms of key business risks and mitigation, I think macroeconomic instability is remain one of the key risks, as we all know that this will result in higher cost and sluggish demand. So what we are doing is that in terms of mitigating, we are focusing on niche solutions. We are looking into diversifying our supply chains, as well as coming up with flexible pricing strategies so that we remain competitive in the market, as well as we shield ourselves from whatever macroeconomic instability brings to the overall market sentiments.
Yeah.
Another risk in our business, considering high power requirement, remain the power price volatility. So in order to mitigate that, as I said, our latest plant in Hattar is highly energy efficient, so that will give us an edge. And also at the same time, we are trying to convert some of our base load to the renewable sources like solar, so that we can reduce dependence on the national grid and also bring in some cost effectiveness. Increased competition in industrial gases market with the other competition that is already in place. We expect that moving forward, the competition will remain stiff. So we are looking into securing long-term contracts and also developing the niche markets to maintain our market share. The last one is the regulatory and safety compliance, and in order to comply for those requirements and mitigate the risk, we are maintaining the highest level of safety and quality standards through ISOs and ensuring that all our sites where explosive licenses are required are compliant to the regulation. I think with this, Zubair Saab, we can open for question and answers, please.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Zubair Saab, Farooq Saab, for the detailed overview. I would now hand over the mic to Sheroz, who will basically facilitate the question and answer session. Sheroz, over to you.
Thank you. Please use the raise hand button if you wish to speak. For now, Samia from UBL Fund, you can unmute yourself and ask your question.
जी थैंक यू वेरी मच फॉर द प्रेजेंटेशन। मेरे दो सवाल हैं। एक तो आपने अपने फ्यूचर आउटलुक में एलपीजी की एक स्लाइड के अंदर मेंशन किया हुआ था, उसके अंदर ये है कि एलपीजी की मार्केट में ऑलरेडी लाइक 167 प्लस स्टोरेज के लाइसेंसेज हैं, 300 प्लस मार्केटिंग के हैं। वी ऑल नो कि एलपीजी की ओवरऑल इंपोर्ट तो बढ़ी थी लास्ट ईयर, बट इस पर्टिकुलर आपके ख्याल में कितनी को डिमांड है पाकिस्तान में अनमेट ऑफ एलपीजी दैट कैन बी केटर्ड थ्रू योर कंपनी और उसकी प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी? और मेरा दूसरा सवाल यही मारी के ऊपर ही है, उसमें आपकी तो ओवरऑल की टॉप लाइन अचीव की है, तो इज दिस सच अ बिग प्रोजेक्ट कि ये सिर्फ इस कंपनी को ही 17 बिलियन का अकेला रेवेन्यू दे देगा और उसकी प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी भी? और ये इसमें मारी का शेयर शामिल है 17 बिलियन में, या ये कंपनी की ओनली मतलब शेयर होल्डिंग के हिसाब से होगा? ये इनके सवाल के जवाब दे दीजिएगा। थैंक यू।
पहला सवाल है आपका एलपीजी के बारे में। एलपीजी जो है वो रफली तीन सोर्सेज से पाकिस्तान में आ रही है। एक तो जो हमारे इंडिजिनस रिसोर्सेज हैं, हमारे जो अपने ऑपरेटर्स हैं पाकिस्तान के, ओजीडीसीएल और पीपीएल और ये सारे रिसोर्सेज हैं। दूसरा रिसोर्स है जो बाय सी एलपीजी के जो शिप्स आते हैं, और तीसरा रिसोर्स है ईरान। ये तीनों रिसोर्स जो हैं, पाकिस्तान का रिसोर्स जो है वो कैन नॉट मीट द डिमांड, तो लोग जो है वो ईरान और बाहर की एलपीजी को मिक्स करके इसको देते हैं, जिससे थोड़ा सा क्वालिटी का फर्क पड़ता है, और लेकिन उससे प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी बढ़ जाती है। हमारा सेक्टर जो है वो नॉट वेरी मच इन द फर्स्ट 3 years, वी आर ओनली प्लानिंग फॉर 500 tons to 1000 tons पर ईयर पर मंथ। तो उस लिहाज से प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी इसमें कोई तकरीबन 10,000 रुपीज पर टन to 15,000 रुपीज पर टन है, which is a handsome amount to cater a side business. It won't affect a lot, but I mean it provides help to the bottom line as well as the top line. On the second question, which you are referring to LNG, so LNG का 17 billion will be the total revenue of that subsidiary, and 51% is owned by Marine Energies and 49% is owned by, I mean, Rani Chemicals. So our portion will be only 49% of 17 billion.
सॉरी, इसमें सर एलपीजी की वैसे मार्केट डिमांड कितनी है पूरी पाकिस्तान की? मतलब
More than 3 million tons. More than 3 million tons per year.
Shoaib Saab,
And it's growing.
you can
It's
unmute
not 3
your-
million tons only.
जी अस्सलाम वालेकुम।
वालेकुम सलाम।
थैंक यू फॉर द प्रेजेंटेशन। सो मेरे दो तीन क्वेश्चंस हैं। पहला क्वेश्चन तो रिलेटेड टू द हतार प्लांट है। सो कुड यू प्लीज टेल मी के उसका जो इंडस्ट्रियल टैरिफ है फॉर इंक्रीमेंटल कंजम्पशन ऑफ इलेक्ट्रिसिटी, उसकी क्या बाइफरकेशंस हैं, आप वो अगर बता दीजिए पहले तो।
I mean, it's a very good question. Trust me, I am looking forward to it because I haven't received any notice from NEPRA so far. Or, I mean, the good guess is the incremental will be quite heavy, but no notice received so far.
Okay. So my next question is about the new joint venture that you announced yesterday with Mari. उसमें what is your expectations regarding the margins of that particular project with Mari?
Looks very attractive margins because इसमें technology involved है from low methane to all the way down bring to like a combustible methane and then making LNG and then selling to LNG to those people who are not in the network. So I mean it's a quite good I mean easily meeting the average net profits and even more than that.
ओके सर, थैंक यू। आपने भी मेंशन किया था कि ये जो फाइनेंसिंग है ऑफ दैट पर्टिकुलर प्रोजेक्ट इज फ्रॉम द सप्लायर्स क्रेडिट। सो उसको थोड़ा सा एक्सप्लेन कर देंगे, व्हाट डज दैट मीन कि सप्लायर क्रेडिट से कैसे फाइनेंसिंग होगी उस प्रोजेक्ट की?
LC will be open to the supplier and we will pay some advance of that and a major portion of that will be paid in next 2 years. So once the plant will be commissioned, after commissioning, 3 months after commissioning, there will be a first payment and the last payment will be 8 quarterly installments. So you could say about we have to pay this money in 2 years.
Post COD.
After COD.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Abdul Basit, you can unmute yourself and ask your question.
तो सर ये प्लांट कितने सालों में लाइव आ जाएगा?
Sorry, can you repeat please?
ये प्लांट कब तक लाइव हो जाएगा मारी वाला जो है?
We are very hopeful that by end of next year, regular year, we should bring it into production. And maybe we are trying to do phase 1 and phase 2. We will try our level best to bring a phase 1 in which will create a revenue for us. That is somewhere about October of next year.
जी, अस्सलाम वालेकुम। Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
जी। जैसे कि शुक्रिया आपने तफसील में बताया इसके बारे में। थोड़ा सा इस पे जस्ट टू फॉलो अप हो सकता है, मैंने सही से सुन नहीं सका हूँ। ये जो अभी एक कॉलीग ने इससे पहले भी सवाल किया था, जो आपने मारी के प्रोजेक्ट के हवाले से जिक्र किया है कि 17 अरब की जो है टॉप लाइन आप एक्सपेक्ट कर रहे हैं, इस पे जो नेट मार्जिन है, आई थिंक आपने कोई नंबर शायद एंड में कुछ कहा है। अगर आप कोई क्लियर नंबर नहीं, लेकिन अगर आप कोई इंडिकेटिव रेंज भी अगर मेंशन कर सकें जस्ट फॉर कॉन्टेक्स्ट।
I mean, it will be, according to our calculation, it will be higher than the net average, net profit average.
नेट प्रॉफिट एवरेज आपका जो आपका हिस्टोरिकल या
No, I mean market net profit average.
मार्केट, तो हम अराउंड 10% तक एक्सपेक्ट कर सकते हैं
Right.
इसमें?
जी हाँ, इंशाल्लाह. Easy.
ठीक। तो इसमें अगर इसकी जैसे बात की गई कि फाइनेंसिंग मिक्स की कि ज़्यादातर हिस्सा जो है वो सप्लायर क्रेडिट होगा, तो इसके हवाले से इसमें कितना कोई इसमें डेफिनेटिव है कि कितना, क्योंकि अब एडवांस स्टेजेस पे आपने अनाउंस किया तो फाइनेंसिंग प्लान वगैरह तो फाइनलाइज हो गए होंगे, कि क्या फाइनेंसिंग मिक्स होगा, कितना पोर्शन होगा जो ये सप्लायर क्रेडिट होगा?
75% will be paid in installments after COD and 25% will be paid in advance.
ओके, सो मतलब ये जो क्रेडिट पोर्शन है दैट इज 75%?
Yes.
Okay, and the remaining 25% would be basically as per the JV stakes के 51% जो है उसमें मारी contribute कर रहा होगा, 49% आप, इसी तरह से?
We will be contributing as an equity partners and then that will be contributing as a debt partners.
ओके। और इसमें जो आपकी कुछ की assumptions बता सकते हैं? फॉर एग्जांपल आपने एक जैसे हमें एस्टिमेटेड रेवेन्यू बताया 17 बिलियन का, तो इसमें कुछ की assumptions बता सकते हैं कि क्या प्राइसिंग की assumptions यूज हुई हुई है, मार्केट साइज क्या हुआ है, मार्केट शेयर क्या अज्यूम हुआ है, कुछ अगर बेसिक assumptions अगर आप शेयर कर सकें।
मैंने जैसे अभी बताया कि अबाउट 8 मिलियन टन इस पिछले लास्ट 1 और 2 इयर्स में थोड़ी सी कम आई है, अबाउट 7.2 मिलियन टन, लेकिन फिर भी 7 to 8 मिलियन टन के रेंजेस में ये LNG आ रही है पाकिस्तान में। एंड नॉर्मल प्राइसिंग जो SNPPL और SHGC प्रोवाइड कर रही है, दैट इज अबाउट for process gas about 2800 to 3000 rupees per MMBTU, और जो पावर सेक्टर्स के लिए है वो है तकरीबन 4000 रुपीस पर MMBTU, और जो लाइक कमर्शियल सेक्टर्स और जो दूसरी लोग हैं इनके लिए भी अबाउट 4000 रुपीस पर MMBTU. So we are trying to be in the middle of these two areas, and we are trying to be in those areas where the networks are not present and LPG people are consuming LPG. We could replace LPG with this natural gas, because this natural gas will be 99% natural gas, and it will not have any nitrogen or like just a very little nitrogen. So whoever will be using this gas will be quite happy, because they are not wasting any energy to heat up the inert part of that. So I am assuming somewhere about $10 per MMBTU जो है ना, इसका easily achievable target होगा हमारे लिए।
और इसमें आपकी जो थैंक यू, बहुत शुक्रिया, आपने तफसील में बताया। इसमें जो आपकी ऑपरेशंस हैं, इसमें आप बेसिकली अज्यूम या जो टारगेट कर रहे हैं वो एरियाज कर रहे हैं कि आप बेसिकली compete कर रहे हैं विद LPG, और आप वहाँ पे टारगेट कर रहे हैं जहाँ पे अदरवाइज गैस की जो है एक्सेस मौजूद नहीं है। तो ये कौन से पॉकेट्स आपने आइडेंटिफाई किए हैं? अगर थोड़ा सा लोकेशंस आप हमसे शेयर कर सकें।
Why, there are many in Pakistan. I mean, even you can find it in Lahore, many areas where people can get any gas pressure. Even in main belt of Pakistan, like a GT road, there will be many industries which are not using the gas because they don't have a pressure. There are quite a few areas. We have done a lot of work on this. Many industries which are not able to use this.
तो इसको अगर हम करंट कॉन्टेक्स्ट में देखें, जहाँ पे हम देखते हैं कि ये जो एक्सेस गैस इन द सिस्टम की बात होती है, बल्कि अभी तो हम कर्टेलमेंट की बात कर रहे हैं, और उसकी वजह से इनफैक्ट कर्टेलमेंट हो रही है, और फिर कतर के साथ आप रीनेगोशिएशन में जा रहे हैं। तो एक ऐसे एनवायरनमेंट में, और अब गवर्नमेंट ने जो है वो डोमेस्टिक कनेक्शंस में भी LNG जो है वो ओपन कर दिए हैं, तो इस एनवायरनमेंट में ये चैलेंजिंग नहीं थोड़ा सा हो सकता है आपके ख्याल से? इसको आपने एनालाइज किया कि इसमें स्पेस बनाना इस तरह के एनवायरनमेंट में, क्या ये करंट सिचुएशन एक चैलेंज हो सकता है?
I don't see any challenge. The curtailment is not because of LNG or anything. Curtailment of that LNG is because that LNG has become very costly, especially when they put a levy on the power sector. Then most of the people are not using it, because power sector is, experiencing somewhere about 4,000 rupees per MMBTU, and process sector is almost 3,000 rupees per MMBTU. So it's not feasible to use a gas for a power. Curtailment is only because of a price. So if you bring the price down, because 4,000 rupees mean like about $13.5 per ton. If you bring that $13.5 down to like $10.5 or $10, everybody will be very happy to use that.
राइट, थैंक यू। बस फाइनली अगर आप मुझे अगर आप हमें ये बता सकें कि ये जो सप्लायर क्रेडिट की आपने बात की, इसके कोई टर्म्स वगैरह हम एक्सपेक्ट कर सकते हैं क्या? क्या इसका कॉस्ट ऑफ डेट एक्सपेक्ट किया जा सकता है? एक तो ये, और दूसरा बस फाइनली मेरा सवाल ये होगा कि इन जनरल GCIL के लिए हम जैसे हम प्रोजेक्ट वाइज तो देख रहे होते हैं कि इस साल ये डेवलपमेंट या इस साल ये डेवलपमेंट, तो वो ऑब्वियसली ट्रिगर कर रहे होते हैं, लेकिन मूविंग फॉरवर्ड हम एक नॉर्मलाइज सस्टेनेबल बेसिस पे कितनी आपको लगता है कि रेवेन्यू ग्रोथ एक्सपेक्ट कर सकते हैं? और कितना सस्टेनेबल आपको नजर आता है? कहाँ पे ग्रॉस मार्जिन किस लेवल पे, अगर आप कोई क्लियर नंबर नहीं भी तो भी एक इंडिकेटिव रेंज भी अगर आप बता सकें कि ग्रॉस मार्जिन कितना नॉर्मलाइज लेवल पे हम आगे एक्सपेक्ट कर सकते हैं कि सस्टेन करें? थैंक यू, बहुत शुक्रिया।
देखिए जी, इस वक्त में जहाँ पे ग्रॉस मार्जिन है ना, दे आर क्वाइट हाई। Going higher than that was difficult. Yes. So I don't want to give a very, very rosy picture, but this year we will, inshallah, maintain these margins. After June of next year, it's very difficult to say because margins are quite high. I don't think it will be an easy job to just sustain. So, I mean, I hope you got my answer.
जी जी, बहुत शुक्रिया। इसके अलावा अगर आप बस वो रेवेन्यू ग्रोथ का भी मैंने पूछा, अगर आप कुछ आइडिया दे सकें कि हम मूविंग फॉरवर्ड एक सस्टेनेबल लेवल ऑफ ग्रोथ कितनी देख सकते हैं कंपनी की।
लेकिन इस वक्त actively we are trying to work into the markets which are out of Pakistan, that we are trying to find, and alhamdulillah we have located few markets and we are into like right now in a table talk with them. If we put up a plant, we give them the services, we give them the good solutions. So we are looking forward. We are looking into the 2, 3, 4 markets where जहाँ पे हम penetrate कर सकते हैं out of Pakistan, which will give a huge boost to Pakistan. I mean this company. The international भी हो जाएगी. One is Oman is already in place and most of the things have been done. Right now we are working on a financing. I think in a very little time frame you should have some of those announcements too.
Thank you, thanks a lot.
Maham, you can unmute yourself and ask your question.
Am I audible, sir?
Yes,
Yes, you are.
ओके मेरे 2-3 सवाल है। सबसे पहले ये कि जब लास्ट टाइम सीबीएस हुई थी उसमें आपने जिक्र किया था कि जो आपका हतार प्लांट है उसका कंसेशनल रेट इट्स पेंडिंग इन कोर्ट, तो उसका कोई फाइनल डिसीजन आया है या आप एक्सपेक्ट करें कि कब तक आएगा?
अभी तक भी वो पाकिस्तानी कोर्ट में है, तो आई मीन
ओके
कभी मैं छुट्टी या कभी वो छुट्टी।
They have important matter.
और जो आपका हतार प्लांट है वो अभी आपने जैसे बताया कि वो ज्यादा एनर्जी एफिशिएंट प्लांट है, तो नॉर्मली हम जितना यूनिट्स कंज्यूम करते हैं एयर सेपरेशन यूनिट फॉर द प्रोडक्शन ऑफ ऑक्सीजन, नाइट्रोजन और आर्गन, उससे हम कितना % डिक्लाइन एक्सपेक्ट कर सकते हैं कंजम्पशन रेट में?
Just one
हतार
second.
प्लांट
ये कितना का 30%?
Roughly 20.
Roughly 30%.
ओके ठीक है। और अभी जो ओमान प्लांट आपने उसमें किया था उसकी इनकम हर दफा हर क्वार्टर में जब मैं पूछती हूँ वो आप बताते हैं इस दफा होगा फिर नेक्स्ट मंथ होगा, तो उसका कोई क्लियर टाइमलाइन बता सकते हैं ताकि हम उसे अपनी प्रोजेक्शंस में ऐड कर लें? वो 26 के एंड से आएगी या फिर?
नहीं, एक तो आ चुकी है मेरा ख्याल है, एक अभी आई है ना मेरा ख्याल है इसकी जो पहली एक अपना जो सर्विसेज की फीस आई है।
नहीं, ओमान का
ओमान की बता रहे हैं ना, ओमान की
हाँ,
GCIL में आ गई है।
वो है हाँ।
देखिए आई थिंक पहली ट्रेंच तो आ चुकी है, जो डिजाइनिंग और उसकी सारी है ना, वो रफली अबाउट आई थिंक $200,000 or $300,000 है। That has already come into the book, and now we are just working on the financing side, and this plant will be exported to. So ये भी I believe about 2.5 to something 3 million or something like that. I'm not very sure exact pricing क्या है। तो वो भी जो amount है it will come into the GCIL, and GCIL will own part of that company also. So it's already coming into the GCIL balance sheet.
मैंने लास्ट टाइम जब आपने कंफर्म किया था उस वक्त आपका ये प्लान था कि आप ओमान में उसको कमीशन करेंगे क्योंकि वहाँ इलेक्ट्रिसिटी कॉस्ट बहुत कम है, 5 सेंट्स के करीब है।
You were not audible on. I could not hear you last part.
जी अब आ रही है आवाज?
जी आ रही।
मैं कह रही थी कि जब लास्ट टाइम कंफर्म किया था तो यू सेड कि जब ओमान प्लांट आपका ओमान में चला जाएगा वहां पे कमीशन कर रहे हैं क्योंकि वहां पे इलेक्ट्रिसिटी कॉस्ट कम है।
Absolutely, वहाँ पे the cost of the electricity is 5.6 cents per kilowatt hour.
हाँ देखिए यही मैंने भी एस्टिमेट किया था, तो उसकी इन अर्निंग्स एक क्वार्टर में या एक साल में आप कितनी एक्सपेक्ट करें और वो कब से होगी?
But on the other hand, if you see the cost of electricity is 5.6 cents, and the sale price of oxygen is also with the same proportion, like about $110 per ton. So, I mean, it's not that the price of electricity is down and the cost and the sale price of oxygen is like a Pakistan. The difference is probably be less than Pakistan, much less than Pakistan. So, I mean, we are assuming like first 2 years, plant will be running about first year, I think 50%, second year will be about 60%, and then it will go up to like 10% every year, nothing more than that. But even with this, plant will be producing somewhere about, Alhamdulillah, by the grace of Almighty Allah, somewhere we are assuming about $1 million to little north of that.
$1 एक पूरे साल की इनकम आप एक्सपेक्ट कर रहे हैं?
जी पूरे साल की एक्सपेक्ट कर रहे हैं
for a whole year.
और ये जो आपका LNG का है, इस पे लाइसेंसिंग मिल गई है और इस पे कितना टाइम लगेगा ये बिजनेस कमीशन होने में?
देखिए, इसके लिए लाइसेंसिंग अभी अप्लाई होगी और आई डोंट सी एनी प्रॉब्लम इन दोस लाइसेंसिंग, but the timeline of this, I am hoping second fiscal year or second half of next fiscal year.
Second half of next fiscal year हम इसकी इनकम एक्सपेक्ट कर सकते हैं
इंशाल्लाह.
ओके. प्राइसेस भी आपका ये जो हतार प्लांट है अभी फिलहाल किस यूटिलाइजेशन लेवल पर चलेगा फिस्कल ईयर 26 में?
Fiscal year 26 में about 65%.
ठीक है, ओके. बस यही पूछना था. थैंक यू सो मच.
Thank you.
There are a few questions on the chat box. I'll ask them one by one. So, can you please share the outlook and of demand and prices on medical gases segment?
Look, as we said in the beginning, the demand would remain steady with the normal organic growth that you expect. Normally, what happens in this industry that the healthcare sector grows slightly higher than the normal industry average. So we expect that it will remain the same. And in terms of pricing, I think what we are seeing that there will be the routine price increase, which is related to whatever the CPI would be. So we don't expect any major differences in terms of price change unless the input cost, which in our case is electricity, changes drastically.
Can you share the outlook of shipbreaking industry and what sort of potential do you see for GCIL?
देखिए, जो शिप ब्रेकिंग इंडस्ट्री है, as I said, these days it's actually on a lower end, but with all the green yard initiatives which are taking place simultaneously under the patronage of government as well as some international agencies, we are expecting that in the coming, let's say, months and quarters, the requirement of oxygen in ship breaking will increase. And the current volumes may go or may increase more than 100%. But this is something that we have yet to see. But all the indicators are in place that the ship breaking will actually increase substantially in the coming months and quarters.
Something I would like to ask, if you can add to that, is I think 2017 or 2018, Pakistan was cutting around 125 ships. Tonnage, I am not sure what it was, but if you could shed some light on what percentage of sales were you supplying to shipbreaking industry back then in 2017? What was shipbreaking as a percentage of your total sales? And maybe if you know about the competition, which is Pakistan Oxygen also. So just to get an idea of what it is now and what it used to be before in revenue terms and in volume terms, if you can highlight.
It's a very right analysis that back in 2017 and 18 there was quite ships present at Kadani, and Kadani Chemical as on today is still the market leader in terms of shipyards utilization. and its share. And at the same time, at that time, more than 50% of the product for which is mainly liquid oxygen was supplied by the Ghani Chemical back in 2017 and 18. Right now, as Zubair was highlighting, that there are some economic factors which are affecting the import of ships in Pakistan. There is Iranian steel, uh, there is inflation, and at the same time, there is some concerns of international agencies to, establish the green concept of ship breaking in Pakistan, which is being under process and under approval. Uh, Work is being done. The government is also taking initiative to improve the Gadani shipbreaking standards in line with the international. And at the same time, they are also building the Port Qasim. They have the plan to build the Port Qasim ship breakyard. And with all these things, initiative go well. We are very much hopeful that within 1 year, there are very much bright chances of this industry to boom.
Just to add on to Bilal sir, who is our marketing head for oxygen, gas area. In 2017, 2018, we were doing roughly about 20% of our revenue was coming from Gadani shipwreck. However, today I don't think it's more than 1%. Not even 1%. I mean, 1% will be probably little exaggeration. And I mean, practically, you could say we are right now. There is not much activity. Maybe there is one ship over there. So the way the noise which is coming right now, in the next 1.5 year, there will be a revival of shipbreaking industry. So that means there will be a revival of a real parallel economy in ship industry, because normally there are about 37 to 38 shipyards which are active in breaking the ships. And at this time, I think maybe 1 or 2 maximum are working. So if that economic activity start moving, because once they cut the ship, that ship will not stay there. That ship will move downward to country like in south and north part of like Lahore or Faisalabad, in those areas, and like in re-rolling mills and all those areas. So those industries start also working on that too. So I hope this start working, and there will be a huge demand of this side. Like, I mean, you could say there will be an upside of about 15%, 20% of from shipwreck.
साहब, मेरा सवाल बिल्कुल सिंपल है, शायद अभी भी अनआंसर्ड रहा है, कि अगर आप 60 मिलियन टन के करीब बेचते थे 2017 में, तो उसका कितना फीसद था? 12-13 मिलियन शिप ब्रेकिंग से आता था, और आज वो मिलियन टन में कितना कितना सप्लाई कर रहे होंगे, अगर आप प्रोडक्शन के वॉल्यूम्स के उस नंबर में बता सके।
आज तो 1 भी नहीं है।
1 भी नहीं है, 1 मिलियन टन भी नहीं होगा। और उस वक्त कितना करते थे? 12-13।
आपने समझे कि तकरीबन 20%, 18%, 22% तक भी गए हैं।
तो अगर ये दोबारा उस पे आ जाती है, तो शायद 12-13 मिलियन टन से वॉल्यूम बढ़ जाने चाहिए,
इससे भी ज्यादा हो जाएगी।
और ये ही आपको आइडिया है कि जो कंपटीशन है पाकिस्तान ऑक्सीजन, उसका भी लगभग यही वॉल्यूम होगा। अगर आपका 50% मार्केट शेयर है, तो बैलेंस वही करते होंगे उस वक्त, जो आप कह रहे हैं कि जब आपका पहले 50%, शायद अगर मैंने सही सुना है, वो भी इतना ही बेचते होंगे।
हमारे से को थोड़ा सा कम होगा, क्योंकि हमारे गार्डन 16 टैंक्स लगे हुए हैं वहां पे, उनके को तकरीबन 12-13 होंगे पर हमारा मतलब, बट आई मीन कोई बहुत ज्यादा फर्क नहीं होगा। वी विल बी डूइंग समथिंग लाइक ±5%।
तो अगर 2017 के लेवल पर आ जाए इंडस्ट्री, अगर आ जाती, ऑफ कोर्स आपने बताया जैसे कि अभी कुछ भी नहीं हो रहा, तो हम एक्सपेक्ट करेंगे 25 मिलियन टन टोटल डिमांड शिप ब्रेकिंग की हो सकती है। ये नंबर करेक्ट होगा?
आई मीन आई एम क्वाइट श्योर कि अगर ये जाती है वहां पे, तो यस,
थैंक यू।
इट विल मेक अ ह्यूज डिफरेंस।
Mubashir साहब, you can ask your question.
अस्सलाम जी, थैंक यू फॉर द प्रेजेंटेशन। आपने मेरा एक एग्जॉस्ट गैस से रिलेटेड सवाल था। आपने गालिबन थोड़ी देर पहले मेंशन किया था कि आपकी एलपीजी की $10 या उसके आसपास की एमएमबीटीयू की प्राइस होगी, सेलिंग प्राइस। आप बता सकते हैं कि आपको मारी से ये गैस कि कोई कॉस्ट पड़ेगी और इसकी कन्वर्जन कॉस्ट क्या होगी, उस पर कुछ नंबर्स अगर आप शेयर कर सकें प्लीज।
जो हमारी इनपुट कॉस्ट है वो है $0.55 पर MMBTU।
और तो उसकी कन्वर्जन कॉस्ट भी कुछ होगी जो ऑब्वियसली क्या कहते हैं मीथेन को सेलेबल बनाने के लिए कुछ आएगी आई एम श्योर, तो वो तकरीबन कितनी होगी पर MMBTU?
I mean, if it's possible, let's pass on this question and go to the next one, please.
Okay, so there are a few questions in chat box. Can you please tell the current selling price for carbon dioxide and what are the margins on that?
Carbon dioxide, on these two streams which we are getting almost 99.5%, so our cost of production should be very, very low. It's very, very low. And the average sale price of CO2 is roughly about 25,000 to 30,000 rupees per ton. Once in a while, there are like every season, there are 15 days or 20 days, this price goes to about 150 rupees per kg or even 200 rupees per kg. But normally it runs from 25 to 35 rupees per kg. So that's where we are targeted.
You have moved your calcium carbide business into GCWL. Can you confirm whether GCIL is currently recording any calcium carbide sales?
No.
Can you comment on the shareholding structure of the Oman project?
Shareholding structure would be 40% would be equity and 60% financing would be acquired from Oman.
शेयर होल्डिंग स्ट्रक्चर का आप 100% तो नहीं ओन कर रहे होंगे ना?
जी जी,
उस प्लांट को आप 100% ओन करेंगे कि कोई पार्टनर भी होगा उधर?
अभी कोई नहीं होगा, फॉर द टाइम बीइंग नहीं।
Can you comment on the current market size of total liquid gases?
Liquid gases means bulk.
About 14 million.
14 million cubic meter on national level.
About 14 to 15 million cubic meter per month. Per month.
Yeah, per month.
About 15 million per month. Cubic meters.
Sharoz, are we done with the questions?
Yes, most of the questions have been answered directly or indirectly.
Okay. Sir, I would like to conclude the session with one last question. We were comparing the gross margins of yourself and Pakistan Oxygen Limited. This trailing 12 months gross margins for Ghani Chemical Industries were 49%, and for Pakistan Oxygen it was 36%. The 3-year average gross margin for Ghani Chemical was 36%, and Pakistan Oxygen was 21%. So I just wanted to ask that with the similar line of the business, what is the magic that you guys are doing, that you guys are delivering consistently higher gross and net margins for the company?
So yeah, I mean, all the goodie goes to these marketing people, production people, finance people. Everybody is plugging in and praying from Allah Subhanahu wa Taala that whatever we are doing, put a barakah in that. I mean, I don't see
But
any.
this is very huge. This difference, may Allah give you more barakah, but this difference is very huge. This is
Absolutely, it is.
This industry is very competitive. The primary raw material is electricity. So how come there is such a big, huge difference between the gross margins of the two companies? It's simply mind-boggling. So maybe if you can shed some light as to what you guys are doing, especially also you have also entered into a new expansion. The Pakistan Oxygen also has gotten into an expansion maybe a year and a half ago. So both are now running the operations with new and more efficient plants. So why is there such a big variation in the gross and net margin, and you are commanding so high margins? There would be some reason.
So being more efficient, putting the investment at the right time, and there is a difference. We have put up a plant of 275 ton. The total cost we booked, I think, 2.2 billion rupees per this whole plant. And I don't want to say a competitor also booked that plant in their book, and I am very sure that you could look into that. There is quite a big of a difference. So those costs will go into like a financial cost and depreciation. So there will be a huge difference in all those areas.
I think that's a good explanation for that. Obviously, the depreciation and the financial charges would be higher. So basically, but of course, at the same time, I think yours is a Chinese plant and theirs is a European specification plant. So do you think that the efficiency would be different theirs, or how do you compare the efficiency levels of both these plants?
Last I checked, both were made in China.
Yeah, both are actually made in China. Actually, what happened with these plants that all the key equipment like compressors, turbines, they are actually European origin.
There's somebody, please mute yourself. Okay, so Zubair Saab, please can you continue? Both these plants?
What I was saying is that all the key equipment, all the rotary equipment, it's all European, whether it's ours or theirs. And the static part, the static components, they are manufactured in China for us as well as for them as well.
Okay. Thank you so much. With this, we bring to an end the conclusion of Ghani Chemical Industries. Thank you, Hafiz Farooq Saab. Thank you, Zubair Saab. Thank you, Asim Saab. Thank you, the entire team of Ghani Chemical Industries. We would request you all that following it up with is the Ghani Global Holdings presentation. We would like to ideally break out for 10 minutes for namaz, and if we can start that for 5 to 10 minutes later. So if you can ask somebody to start the next Zoom meeting, and then we can all join in maybe in 10 minutes time.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.